So, welcome back with foreign trade in India. And in this, we're going to do the trade policy in the pre reform period. That means before 1991. And again, the period is 1950, the planning period 1950 to 1990. So, basically, what was the trade policy of ours? It was basically an import substitution policy or an inward looking policy. It's also referred to as inward looking policy. It is also sometimes talked about as a protection policy. So, all that it's and protection given to the domestic industry in terms of import restrictions through quotas and import duties through tariffs. So this is what we are going to do basically. Take a quick look. Take a quick look and see. Well, I'll just tell you what it is. So it's also known as we followed what is known as an inward looking policy. It is a policy that relies on import substitution. It talks about protection of the domestic industry, giving protection to the domestic industry. How? Through import restrictions and import duties. Now, let's just go through it. Now, import substitution, what does it imply? It means domestic production of those goods which the economy has been importing from the rest of the world or from the outside world. This is a strategy to save foreign exchange by restricting the volume of imports. So that was import substitution. So in a way you save foreign exchange and build up your foreign exchange reserves by producing those goods which you are importing. And another thing to note is foreign exchange is scarce, we know it's less, so and we have to utilize it for developmental imports rather than importing goods, say for day-to-day needs or consumer goods or something like that. So foreign exchange had to be utilized for developmental imports. The policy makers decided. So now what are developmental imports? That means import of such plant and machinery which is essential for growth and development, but we cannot produce domestically, which cannot be made domestically. Because why? Because lack of technology or lack of investment funds. Or if you make them at home, if you make them domestically, they'll be very expensive. We don't get a comparative advantage in them. That was the reason. And another point to note is, by adopting this inward looking policy, the government preferred to use the foreign exchange very in a way that, or rather to economize the use of foreign exchange through import substitution rather than maximize the generation of foreign exchange through export promotion. We just thought of economizing, saving foreign exchange. We wanted to save it for buying plant and machinery which were needed for development, but we did not go in for export promotion. That means generation of foreign exchange through exports. We didn't do that. And another thing was that the government wanted to protect the domestic industry from international competition. And how did it do it? It did it by its two-pronged strategy, that is tariffs. Tariffs is what? It is a duty on the imported commodity. It directly increases the price of imported commodities, thereby offering protection to domestic producers from foreign competition. That was tariffs. And the second was quotas. Now, what are quotas? That is restrictions. The restrictions on what? Import restrictions through quotas. That means under which the government fixes the quota of import of different goods from different countries. Thus, the quota is fixed, keeping in view the needs of the country. So, this is how they thought of protecting the Indian or domestic industries, and through trade also.